Congratulations with all of the success of Push It. Great. Here's the single.
Yes.
I have it.
I
I've
have
been listening to it. Yeah.
Amazing.
With the stiletto heel.
Yeah, you have to put yours against mine.
Okay, let's do that.
It's like a
Oh, that's like kaleidoscopic, yeah.
kaleidoscope. Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. So congratulations. This is a long time coming for you. I mean, you are a singer, a songwriter, a dancer. You've been so creative. You've been doing so many things, and this must be a dream come true for you.
It's absolutely been a dream come true. This feels like a really, really good year.
So you grew up in Southern California. So tell me a little bit, if you can, in just a brief minute, like your story. You grew up. Who inspired you? Moving to LA, the dream of becoming famous and a singer and a dancer.
Even though I was only 60 miles away from Los Angeles, from Hollywood, it felt like this other world. And every time I would get the chance to come up to LA, I was just mesmerized. I'm in love with Hollywood and Hollywood glamour, and I just always wanted to be a part of Hollywood and make music and make movies and things like that. So ever since I was a little girl, it was always the goal was to come to Los Angeles and make it happen. So I graduated high school early. I was 16 years old, and I worked really hard and passed early. And then the day I got my driver's license, I just took off. And I ran away to Los Angeles. I didn't really ask permission or tell anyone where I was going. And I had some friends of mine who were dancers, who were dancing in videos and things like that. We grew up kind of dancing in crews together. And so I crashed a little bit with them, and I sort of couch surfed, and there was definitely, it was a really awkward time, but it was so much fun, and I was getting acclimated to Los Angeles, and then eventually started having success and started dancing in music videos, and that was sort of how I'd pay for food or meals or whatever and things like that. And then I started a rock band, and we were playing up and down the Sunset Strip, and we got signed, and that was the beginning of my music career.
So you're working with really some heavy hitters, people that know how to write and produce hits, people like Tony Kanal of No Doubt and Nelly Hooper, I mean, to just mention a few.
Yes.
Also a few up-and-comers like Dr. Rosen.
Right.
But how did you get in touch? I mean, how was the connection made to people like Tony Kanal and Nelly Hooper?
Well, individually speaking, Nelly Hooper was a really interesting story. He's one of my all-time favorite producers. And when I first started writing songs, I started keeping these things that I call good karma notebooks that one of my mentors gave me. Kay Hanley, she's a songwriter. She gave me this notebook, and she's like, this is your good karma notebook. You write anything you want in it, lyrics, dreams, wishes, whatever. And so I still have one today. Like, I fill them up. I take them everywhere. And one of the things I wrote down was a dream list of producers that I wanted to work with. And Nelly Hooper was the number one producer. This was 5 years ago now. So it's just something I never let go of. I always knew I'm going to get in the room with Nelly Hooper. And coincidentally, when I was living in London, a friend of mine, Tristan, he was having a birthday party, and he had it at this random club in Soho, and there was all these people there, and I met this really interesting, cool, funny dude, and his name was Nelly. And we started talking, and, we talked about music a little bit and whatever, but first we kind of got to know each other before, before I figured out that he was Nelly Hooper. So anyways, in conversation it came out that, he's like, oh, well, I do music, or I produce, and I was like, oh, whatever, And then it was Nelly Hooper, and I was like, oh my God! So I was like, you have to work with me. Give me your email right now. And he was just kind of like, So I got his email address, and then I just kept emailing him. I emailed him for 2 years. And then finally this year, he bought a house in Los Angeles, and he was here, and he replied and was like, all right, let's do it. You keep annoying me. What's up? And so we got in the studio and started making some magic, and now we have a really great creative relationship.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So the lesson was that persistence works.
Persistence works, and also really focusing on what you want, being very, very specific. And I truly believe that through energy and through the universe, you can will things to you, both good and bad. You know, so I have very, very specific lists of things that I'm going to achieve. So.
Very good. So before we get into that list, you just mentioned also living over in the UK, and I think that's so interesting about your story is that you were a songwriter for Xenomania, right? You were part of the Hit Factory, and you were there for a while.
Yes, I was. I lived there for about 2 years. Yeah.
So that must have been really interesting for you to just be part of that experience and see how hits are made, and I'm sure you had a lot of learnings there.
Oh, it was an incredible experience. You know, I think when it comes to Britpop, you know, Xenomania, they're the best. So it was great to be a part of that crew, I guess, or environment, if you will, and be around brilliant writers like Miranda Cooper and things like that. So I learned so much, and definitely upped my chops as a songwriter over there.
Okay, so let's fast forward to back in Los Angeles, pursuing your own dreams and your own list of to-dos.
Yes.
So you started working with all of these interesting people. What is your big idea or sort of your sonic vision behind who you want to be with you know, this new project?
Well, I think it is interesting that you mentioned that I lived in London, because I mean, it's pop. Jessie and the Toy Boys is pop, but at the same time, it has these little, you know, dubstep influences that you can hear, particularly in Push It and Valentine, and I have a song called Can't Go Back to London, Flashback with Nelly Hooper. So it's interesting because my time in London, and especially immersing myself in sort of the South London dubstep club scene, it's really, really affected sonically where I wanted to go with this record. I just wanted to introduce the U.S. and the world to a new genre of pop that no one's ever heard before. So combining dubstep influences with pretty pop melodies and interesting lyrics, really.
How far are you along with the album? Is it done? Is it ready to be released? And are you just waiting for the right time, or are you still tweaking here and there?
I'm still tweaking. I'm still in the studio. The Toy Boys and I are writing a little bit more. But Toy Boys and I plan on releasing an album this summer for sure. So that's the cutoff.
So what are the requirements of being a toy boy?
The requirements of being a toy boy.
What does it take to be part of the troupe?
Well, you have to be super, super talented, first of all. The Toy Boys are like this other level of talent. It's like the upper echelon of talent. So yeah, talent, you have to be a little sexy. You can't, we're bringing sexy back.
It was lovely chatting with you.
It was so nice chatting with you. Thank you very, very much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you very much. Bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.